Demetri Downing here, back at Benzinga in Miami, indoors where it's not raining, hanging out with an amazing group of individuals. It's like the who's who of the national cannabis industry has come to Miami to hang out indoors for the day, which is kind of cool. I'm here with my co-host,
George Stanche, Pure5 Extraction. Better, faster, cheaper extraction.
Better, faster, cheaper. If you're not using Pure5 Extraction, you should consider changing ASAP. But we grabbed another cool individual to join us. He's an old friend, sort of. We met so many times over the years, and we don't know that much about each other. You know, I don't know, unless this is the night I blacked out or something. but Curtis from Frost PLLC, which means, what does PLLC mean?
Professional Limited Liability Company.
Okay, why am I blanking on that? Because I knew LLC. I went to
Not a lot of states have it.
Yeah,
or I don't actually know how many states, but there's some that don't.
I feel as if I should know that because I went to law school, but my mind's blanking me right now. I've had like 5 cups of coffee and I've been up for a long time. So Curtis, how long have you been involved in the cannabis industry?
I got involved in the cannabis industry late 2011.
2011. So you're like one of the OGs of the cannabis industry.
I mean, I've been around for some time, but I don't know if I'm an OG or not.
I know everybody knows you. Everybody looks at you like one of the leaders, like one of the experts. Let's let the audience know a little bit about your journey, how it started, and how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Well, in the cannabis space, I mean, I'm CPA. Frost is a full-service accounting firm with offices in Arizona, Arkansas, North Carolina, Florida, and Colorado. I entered into the cannabis space late 2011 with some clients that were not in the cannabis space prior, but real estate developers, and they started getting into the cannabis space. And at the time, most accounting firms weren't servicing cannabis companies because there was a risk of losing your license at that time. I think it was about 2014 when Colorado changed that to make sure that this industry can be served without a risk of a CPA losing their CPA license. But that's how I started getting involved in the business, and it's kind of stuck with me over the years, and ventured out away from Colorado, and now we have clients in 24 or 27 states spread out, and they continue to grow. Either new clients coming in, or a lot of the clients that partner in or expand into other states themselves. So
you're based in Denver still? Is that where are you? You said.
I still have an office in Denver. Our office headquarters is in Little Rock, Arkansas. So that's our main office, is Little Rock, Arkansas. It's kind of a unique place for it.
That's like Bill Clinton country. I like that. So, but you're based out of where?
Both Little Rock and Denver.
So you travel a lot?
I do.
I see you at the conferences, but for work, you're actually home based to travel a lot.
Yeah. So, and I travel most weeks. Not every week, but quite often, because as clients start moving into new spaces, or they're acquiring other businesses, M&A deals, and that kind of thing. If we're doing due diligence work or audit work, then we'll go visit those clients. Missouri's been a busy place for the past couple of years, so we kind of go where we're needed at the time. And as these businesses mature a little bit, there's a lot less that you have to necessarily be on site for.
So Frost, is that what percentage of the accounting business is cannabis? What is that? Is like full cannabis, all cannabis? I don't know much about Frost.
No, Frost has been around for about 50 years. Started and still is a very strong agricultural firm, and that's what it is. So cannabis itself, I mean, while it's a good business for us, and a very strong business, and it's primarily my business. I'm almost 100% in it.
What's the other percent?
Well, I mean, I have some things that I still do outside of it. Some other work. I do media work and in the media industry and a lot of different industries, and still agriculture. And but there's a lot of demand in the cannabis space. I've been in it for long enough that it's continuing to absorb more and more of the time, and it's a huge area of growth in our firm.
And you guys have a number of other people that work with you. I assume you have teams that work with you.
Yeah, we have groups. We have some We do have some dedicated individuals, mainly on the tax side. When it comes to audits and so forth, our audit group, we don't have a dedicated team that's just for cannabis and audit. They work across other industries. Our M&A guys and due diligence and so forth, they're not necessarily dedicated, but we have resources with all our offices around the country. We probably have, I want to say, somewhere around 150 professionals in our organization. So it gives us good reach.
That's incredible. And there's a lot of young entrepreneurs, people just getting into cannabis, and they don't know how important it is to keep proper books. And that is everything. And I can see that. And the reason I bring that up is because I think that there's going to be this massive wave of individuals trying to go public as soon as federal legalization happens. And I keep telling themselves, people that prepare themselves for that 1, 2, 3 years in advance, because you never know when 6 months from now Biden might say, "Fuck it, it's all over," and then regulations, rules, laws change, and so the publicly traded markets will be available. There'll be a flood of capital coming into this industry, and individuals should be prepared for that. So I always tell people, books, financial, audited financials, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you have a great CPA firm. Is that the kind of stuff is that like good advice?
It's very good advice, and
I'm not an expert. I just host a podcast.
No, it's good advice. It's an interesting industry in that respect. I mean, there's a lot of companies that are being proactive in their plan to either go public or be acquired, and that's where we're working with them to have clean financial statements, audited financial statements, so they can go forward. And I will tell you, that's one of the unique things. I mean, we can talk about New Jersey, we could talk about Maryland, we can talk about New York or anything, but there's a lot in the past couple of years also in like the state of Missouri where, you get these license applications, the licensees then win their license, and they are giving it time to open up, start selling their product, everything like that. Accounting is not the first thing that they think about, or their structure or what they're doing there. But usually after they finally get their feet under them, it's good to get that in place. I mean, you're already dealing with the 280E issue and taxes and everything like that. So there's a lot to get in place at a very rapid pace to get it, and then trying to get those books there. And so a lot of them are coming in here with, possibly wanting audits, and they're not quite prepared. So sometimes we'll have to go either from ourselves if we're not doing the audit, or and look for another accounting firm to help with an audit prep, or we'll audit prep for another firm who can't do that for them.
What makes the cannabis accounting different than the normal accounting? What our listeners need to know about? Well, some of them wants to get into the cannabis, so what they're gonna see the first obstacle?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of factors that can be in play there. I mean, in terms of how their operations might keep their books, and a little bit different than another industry, might be their tax strategy and trying to do what they can do to help mitigate the effects of 280E. Others strictly are looking to have it as any other business, and it wouldn't be necessarily different. But that tax issue, I mean, that's right now on the forefront of everything. Until something happens and 280E goes away, or it's delisted, or something, then that's a huge impact on the success of a business, potential success of.
Who does your taxes? Should be Frost, but who does Pure 5's taxes?
I will have a general accountant that does all the taxes together. So I'm not directly involved in the plant touching side.
So 280E doesn't impact you?
Doesn't impact.
And maybe real quickly you can mention what 280E means, like the biggest impact that it has. It's just plant touching businesses, of course.
So 280E, as for plant touching businesses, really it's a law that's in place that was put in place in 1982. That at the end of the day, the IRS or the U.S. government has said you can't take deductions against your income when filing and paying your income taxes.
Right. And that's just for plant touching businesses.
That's correct.
Yeah, that has something to do with some sort of like criminal thing. I forgot what it was. I should know this off the top of my head, but I don't practice in the space. So you work with your clients range from extraction companies to cultivations to delivery to distributors to manufacturers to brands to retail. You're all over.
All over the space in this industry. Most of them are, there are some single store dispensaries depending on what they have, and usually in states that are very limited license states. But most of them are vertical operations, fully vertical in some respect or another. But we work with MSOs, SSOs. So we have kind of a whole range.
What's an SSO?
Oh, same store, same state.
Same state operator.
Yeah, instead of multi-state. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have just thrown out SSO.
No. I mean, everybody says MSO, MSB, multi-state brand.
Yeah.
But SSO, same state operator.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's interesting. I learned something today. I didn't know that was an acronym, but it is. In the
I thought
CPA
maybe
world.
it is. I hope.
Well, it is
maybe
now.
I made it up.
SSO. So you work with all these individuals, and they're as he was saying, they're unique. They uniquely have to confront 280E. That's something that's very unique to the cannabis industry. What do you? Everybody was always talking about the Safe Banking Act and how that would pass and everything would be solved and that would fix the 280E problem.
I don't think the Safe Banking Act would solve the 280E problem. It's not intended to. I think it's just intended to help keep the issues that we have in the amount of cash that has to be carried by a lot of these businesses and allow it to be banked. But in its current form and in forms that I've seen before, it's not there necessarily to remove cannabis from Schedule 1 or 2 drug.
So just weird high-level conspiracy level thought, just to get your opinion on this. There's people out there that would say, the federal government wants to keep it the way it is because they're making a fortune in taxes right now. And if we change it, people will start to deduct stuff and they'll make less taxes and they're secretly conspiring behind the scenes to make sure, what do you think of all that kind of like talk? I mean, does it make sense or, do you think the government, the IRS, and you deal with IRS individuals, they're saying our bosses need to fix this. I mean, I don't know what that's like, that world.
I mean, I think certainly there's part of it that could have a fiscal impact if they removed 280E or removed marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug. But, there's probably outside the government, institutions that benefit from where it is too right now. But we don't know where the government's going to take it if they do deschedule the drug or keep 280E away from it. They might impose another tax to cover that too. Right. I mean, there might be a transaction tax on the federal side to help mitigate that. I don't know if they've done any fiscal impact studies, but I would think that they'd be looking at it.
Are you guys? Do you guys? I imagine you probably keep track of this stuff at a certain level, to watch what might happen, and that's a very important nuance. I think there'll be a lot of congressmen and senators, as members of the industry, cry out like saying, "Hey, we need to get rid of 280E so that we can deduct our expenses and all that kind of stuff." But then the Congress, somebody, I mean, I don't know how this actually works, might say, well, they're used to paying such high taxes. We can impose a 5, 10, 15% tax anyways. They're not going to know the difference because they're already paying that. You see what I'm saying? I don't know any lobbyists or senators or congressmen who are like actively involved in having this kind of discussions. And I don't think anyone is. I don't know,
Yeah, I'm not aware of it either.
Right. But you see what I'm saying? Like some senator sitting up there saying, well, I heard that the 280 is costing them a lot of money so they can't make any money and it's all going to us, the IRS. So let's just legalize and create a tax at 15% and we'll get that. And they're used to operating that way anyways. So write up a bill,
And I imagine that some of the elected officials might be thinking that, but then others will talk about how the, too much tax will just keep the illicit market, a strong market. You make it, you tax it. We already have a huge illicit market, so if you have the taxes there, and I know that's discussed pretty often, then that can have an impact on what legal sales would.
So what are you looking for here at Benzinga? I know a lot of your friends are here. I see people coming up and talking to you and saying, hey, high five, thanks for doing my tax last year. I mean, thanks for being my CPA. But what do you find out at a conference like Benzinga?
Benzinga, I enjoy coming here. It's true. I do get to see a lot of clients that I don't get to see on a regular basis and catch up with them on a social basis. But then seeing all the other businesses and services that are around and the ones that are new, those have been around for a while where they've evolved. I mean, the industry is continuing to evolve and seeing what happens. And Benzinga, this capital conference is mainly about capital. And that's ever changing. And, where things were last year as opposed to this year, things have tightened up quite a bit. But you build these relationships here. I think that's a big part of it. You find other people that you like to work with and hopefully want to work with you. It's getting back, especially after coming out of COVID or the pandemic, it's nice to get back with people face to face.
I skipped COVID. They got me for a month, April 2020, but I was part of that crowd in Arizona with that was the Mountainside Fitness guys who were like, "Why are you shutting down our gyms and our yoga studios? Why? What are you doing here?" We were very rebellious in Arizona. What state were you in?
At that time, mostly, I was in Little Rock, Arkansas most of the time. So we, it wasn't so bad. I mean, there was no major rebelliousness going on there, but it wasn't as highly restricted. But we didn't have the same circumstances, I feel, as some of these mostly more densely populated, areas. But Phoenix is pretty densely populated too. But I will say, when I go there during the pandemic, it was quiet.
Yeah. Well, again, actually, traffic really did decrease a lot. But that's, I don't know. After 10 years prosecuting, 10 years in the cannabis industry, 1 year of COVID policy, I have learned that we're better off not trusting the government and erring on the side of individualism and freedom and choice and the free market, that kind of stuff. I don't know. I've just seen too much manipulation, too much bullshit. And I don't know. That's just me. I'm a libertarian like that. Sorry, I don't mean to digress. So obviously, except for the obvious, and this is what so somebody just starts a dispensary in New Jersey license, New York license. They go, hey Frost, I'm gonna call Curtis because that guy has worked with 50 other dispensaries and he's gonna be able to not navigate the little nuances. It's better than going to my accountant that was doing my business over here. I should go over there to him. Is that an obvious truth? I really don't know. But when choosing your accountant, you can share all those nuances that are happening with the manufacturing, the cultivation, and all those little ideas that have come up over the years, last 10 years of knowledge that you've acquired, and share that with new clients. Is that true?
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. And I mean, quite honestly, there's a lot of business people in this space that then enter into this space from elsewhere, and they have other businesses as well. So they'll have accountants that still manage their other businesses, but the accountants themselves say, hey, there's a lot in here. There's some nuances in here that I'm just not comfortable with.
Right.
And they might recommend going somewhere else. Some other accountants might end up, trying to do some themselves, but I get a lot of them coming to ask a consult and then review returns and then saying it'd be better if they have somebody. It's just like any other industry. There's a lot of industries out there that, nuances. There's farming and things like that. There's nuances in that, that agricultural business that there's different rules.
Right. Well, that's great. I'm glad that we got to introduce you to people out there so they know who to reach out to first. I know with Mita, we're not plant touching, so I don't know. We even have a CPA. I don't know. It's such a small thing that it doesn't matter. We lose money anyways. So what the hell, Anyways, sorry, I digress. But anyone who's out there who's listening to this and wants to reach out to Curtis because you do have that level of expertise and you've dealt with all these different scenarios, which their accountants or CPAs aren't used to dealing with. It's actually a great idea. And I really, really appreciate you joining us so that we could share that with people. How do people get in touch with you?
Well, you can email me at CWINAR at frostpllc.com. So it's FROSTPLLC.com. That's usually the best way, or call. Just call our, probably the best is to call our Little Rock office. I don't know the number offhand, but you can look us up, and somebody from that office will find a way to get in touch with me.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate your expertise. And any closing thoughts, George?
Well, my accounting knowledge is very high level. I don't have in-depth understanding. That's why experts like Frost, I know why they are in Phoenix. I've contacted them before. So experts like Frost are here to help.
That's excellent. Well, that's wonderful that you contacted them before. Okay, excellent. So this has been another episode of Media Unshackled, and thank you, Curtis, for joining us, and thank you, Frost, for letting you come to this conference and share your knowledge, probably in all kinds of little interactions here or there. People are like getting all kinds of free information, right?
It's a good place to get information.
And hopefully you guys are getting some clients too.
Hope so.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dimitri. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.